Good morning. Wow, you're a well-behaved group. Thank you. Good morning and welcome to Cyber Learning 19. It is so exciting to see you all here bright and early in the morning. This is a meeting that is highly participatory, and so we really invite you throughout the entire meeting to meet new people, share your ideas, get new ideas, plan for the future. I want to remind you, as we started our conference theme, exploring contradictions in achieving equitable futures. So this is a meeting about tensions, about contradictions, about what we're uncertain about what we wish we could do better. And we're all going to work together to figure out what that is and what we can do about it throughout the course of the meeting. And I'll tell you a bit more about the agenda as we get started. I do want to start by acknowledging how many people are here and the different ways you've been with us. So just a show of hands, I'm curious, how many people were here for one of the very earliest cyber learning events, for example, the one at National Geographic? Cool. So we have some people who have been to cyber learning meetings for about 7 or 8 years now. How many people have been to at least one cyber learning meeting before? Terrific. And for how many people is this their first cyber learning meeting ever? Welcome. So you each have a responsibility. The people who have been here for a long time, they can't just hang out with each other. You have to meet and welcome the new people. And the new people have to put yourself out there to be welcomed and interacted with. It's really a very friendly meeting. It's a friendly space. Up front, we have our PC, who we'll introduce a bit later. And everyone's going to help you have a great experience. And to kick us off, I'd like to welcome to the stage the head of NSF's Education Directorate, Karen Maringell.
Thank you, Jeremy, and it is such a pleasure for me to be here with you this morning at 8 a.m. Very ambitious time, especially all you West Coasters. I can feel your pain. But it is really my pleasure to be here to welcome you to the 2019 Cyber Learning Principal Investigators meeting. On behalf of the Directorate for Education and Human Resources, which I represent, and our colleagues in the Directorate of Computer and Information Science and Engineering, I'm delighted to help you kick off this 2019 gathering. A lot of hard work and effort goes into planning these types of events, and so I'd like to acknowledge the NSF staff who have helped with planning, and especially the Center for Innovative Research in Cyber Learning for organizing this meeting and for their continued support as a research center. So please let's give all of them a round of applause. Today's meeting presents a great opportunity for you to collectively discuss your projects, share your interests and challenges, and to engage in conversations with your peers around the country. It is our hope that the dialogue will allow you to enhance projects and ideas that will have broader impact on cyber learning research, both in the immediate future and in years to come. As you know, cyber learning is a cutting-edge program. We might want to update the name, so give that some thought. And it's aimed at funding exploratory research projects that are pushing the boundaries in learning technologies and designing learning experiences of the future. This is such an important program to have at the National Science Foundation because you and we should be the leaders in this type of work. And I'm so proud that we enable the space for you to innovate and test and fail and figure out where we can succeed. Your projects involve innovations informed by both the learning sciences and the computer sciences and engineering. The program responds to the critical need to educate and re-educate learners of all ages in STEM content areas, as well as other areas that enable or contribute to STEM learning, such as literacy and communication skills, which we know are so important. At the National Science Foundation, we strive to provide the necessary tools to inspire the next generation of STEM learners. And these innovative technologies are not only inspiring future STEM learners, but they're also reshaping learning practices, which can potentially influence new technology design and lead to new advances in science and engineering. That is why I'm thrilled to be here with you today. and to thank you for the great work that you do and that you will continue to do in your projects. We realize that the nature of STEM research and mechanisms for teaching and learning STEM is changing, and you're part of that rapid change. Your work will help ensure that the U.S. continues to lead in leveraging these growing opportunities. As NSF plans for 2026 and thinks about the pressing questions that will help set the U.S. agenda for fundamental science and engineering research, we're also thinking about and thinking deeply about STEM education for 2026 and beyond and what that will look like. And you all have important insights to contribute to that thinking. Improving and enhancing STEM education is crucial to the economic well-being of the nation, and advanced technologies for learning is an increasingly critical piece of effective STEM education of the future, and the present, quite frankly. We know that to positively impact increased student learning outcomes, educational technology must be coupled with a deep understanding of how students learn. So the technology and learning environment must synthesize to enhance student-centered learning. Your work is pushing and will continue to push the boundaries of research on STEM learning by designing new models of learning and new learning experiences, integrating artificial intelligence into learning, teaching and research to maximize efficiencies and meet today's learners where they are by harnessing the power of digital and cyber technologies. And hopefully, as you know, NSF has now embarked for several years on 10 big ideas. And I want to mention just a few of these today because I think that the work that you do connects so well to some of these big ideas. The big ideas represent the bold agenda that drives NSF's long-term research investment. And these big ideas pose questions to ensure that future generations continue to reap the benefits of fundamental research in science and engineering. So 4 of these in particular. The future of work at the human technology frontier, which of course is emphasized in the current cyber learning solicitation. The future of work is trying to understand how constantly evolving technologies are actively shaping the lives of workers and how people in turn can shape those technologies, especially in the world of work. It does include, and I want to underscore this, the important work of teachers and supporting teachers through advanced technologies. I would love to see more work in this area, particularly in teacher professional development and teacher preparation. Second big idea I want to highlight is harnessing the data revolution. This big idea is engaging NSF's research community in the pursuit of fundamental research in data science and engineering, the development of a cohesive, federated, national-scale approach to research data infrastructure, and the development of a 21st century data-capable workforce. And as we all know, we cannot hide from data these days. And so whatever your projects can do to help enable new advances in data analytics and new training for working with data, especially with literacy and communication, keeping those in mind, those are projects that we are very interested in. The third is growing convergence research, and I think that the work that you're doing here so ably demonstrates exactly what we're trying to do with growing convergence research. This is the merger of ideas, approaches, and technologies from widely diverse fields to stimulate innovation and discovery in addressing the grand challenges of today's global society. So this meeting that we're at today in the Cyber Learning Program exemplifies this big idea because it is informed by the convergence of multiple disciplines, including education, computer science, engineering, and the social, behavioral, and economic sciences. And finally, I need to mention the last big idea that I want to discuss, which is NSF Includes, which focuses on broadening participation in STEM and bringing it to scale. So I challenge you to think about how your projects, which are at the other end of the continuum, focusing on exploratory work, how these can connect to projects in NSF Includes and broadening participation. What we hope with NSF Includes is that big idea will enable us to share more broadly what has proven to work and to scale up those efforts on a national level. Many of you have already incorporated investigating equity, diversity, and inclusiveness in your cyber learning research projects, which is fantastic. And we need to continue to do that work and figure out how to move it forward. This is especially important because I'm concerned that the gap is growing between the kids that have access to schools that are well-resourced and the kids whose schools don't have those resources. So, this is all to say, your work is incredibly important. It is changing the landscape of what we know about computer science, engineering, and education potentially changing the landscape of education for the future. The range of ideas represented in this room demonstrate the diversity of research and education that NSF has supported, and we are looking for your best ideas to address the STEM research and education challenges of the future. So please keep up the incredible work, have an amazing meeting while you're here, and thank you so much for everything that you do.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Amy Baylor, and I know there's a bunch of you in the room that I have not met yet, and I'm one of the program leads for cyber learning, together with Tanya Kurelski, who is the co-lead from the SI's Directorate. Do you want to just wave your hand, Tanya? She's over there. So welcome, everyone. Thanks for your role in conducting such exciting research on the frontier of learning with technology. We're thinking, there's so many of you that this is your first PI meeting. We haven't had a PI meeting for a while. The last one we had was 2.5 years ago. So perhaps, this is really time that we can all get together and celebrate what we've learned and build our community even more. So cyber learning, as I mentioned, is managed by 2 directorates at NSF, the Education and Human Resource Directorate, from which I'm from, and then the Computer Science, Information, and Engineering Directorate. It also is a very interdisciplinary program and has participation from the Engineering Directorate and the Social and Behavior and Economic Science Directorate. So you've got 4 directorates across NSF that are active and involved in the cyber learning program. So I just wanted to take a quick minute and recognize those that are on the working group, the program officers for cyber learning. I mentioned myself, Tanya Kurelski. In EHR, we have John, and if you're here, just maybe wave your hand. I don't know how many people are here quite yet, because it's a little bit early. John Sharovnowski, oh, he's there, okay, over there. And he's a senior advisor for research for EHR. Sha Shen, oh, she's there too, way in the back. Great. Wu He, I think he had a panel today, actually. Okay, Bob Russell. Okay, he might show back later. And then those are from EHR, and then from SI's, we have Andrew Kern. I don't think he was able to make it this early. And formerly Dan Cosley, who just rotated out. Maria Zemenkova, I think she's coming later today. And then from the Engineering Directorate, we have Ed Berger. I think Ed's, oh, there's Ed, he's back in the back. Okay, great. And he just started a new rotation at NSF, so we welcome him. And then from the SBE, the Social Science Directorate, we have Kurt Thurman. Susie Young Lem. Kurt was from last year. Is Susie Young here? I know she's going to be around later today. So you can see we have a great working group. It's very diverse. So 10 of us, on that, very active and engaged. Looking to the future right now because, as you may or may not know, the current solicitation comes to its last round in January, has a deadline in January, and then we're like, what's next? So this is a big thing where we're hoping to learn from all of you today and tomorrow and thinking towards the future and what might evolve with cyber learning. I'll say one other thing is that, seeing the program evolve over the 3 years that I've been at NSF this time, we changed it to have this new theme for a focus of work at the human technology frontier, and that was due in big part to the role NSF has at large, as Karen mentioned, having these bold new ideas, sort of strategic directions that the foundation thinks are important. So we really hope that those of you that have submitted cyber learning, have cyber learning awards that have to do with work, and those that haven't, that you really try to connect your work and see if you can figure out a way to engage it. Because learning is just so important for preparing future workers on the job, lifelong learning, and so we hope to see more people leverage those opportunities. And there will be an expertise exchange on that big idea, the future of work, today, and I'll be around there, as well as other working members from that big idea. So not just cyber learning, but other working members across the foundation. Program officers are going to be there if you want to show to that one. So that's all I have. So many thanks to the program committee, and I know you're going to have a chance to do that, and CIRCL, which is the Cyber Learning Resource Center, I'm sure you all know. And they've been just great for putting on the meeting and also just spectacular support of the program since about 2013. I think is that right, about 2013? Yeah, something like that. So it's been a while, so it's great. So thanks, everyone, and I hope you have a great day, and I'm looking forward to meeting those of you that I haven't met yet.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Amy, for those opening remarks. And now I'd like to just share a little bit about the program. So, I said in the opening, this is a very participatory meeting. We've worked for months with a program committee, who we'll introduce shortly, to plan a structure for you that has you doing a variety of ways to get together and meet each other and talk about the ideas and talk about the contradictions and tensions. But it's up to you to do that work. One thing I'd like you to do, and I've done it already, is on your badge it says that there's an Ask Me About slot. And that's a great way to let people know something that you'd like to talk to other people about. So take a moment and fill in what you'd like other people to ask you about. That's just one small thing you can do to start the participatory thing. Also, as you heard from Amy, cyber learning is very broad. We have computer scientists, engineers. It's thematic. It's different from traditional programs at NSF because it's so cross-cutting and broad. So expect to meet people from different disciplines and learn something from that. And so we're going to have a variety of ways for you to do that. What I want to tell you about is this meeting has an arc. It has a structure, and it's trying to go somewhere. What we've learned from past meetings is on the first day, it's really important to get to know what's going on already. And so we've designed a series of formats to help you do that. There's going to be round tables where you hear papers from each other and discuss them. There'll be expertise exchanges, which are based on topics that you said you wanted to learn more about, matched with experts we have in the community. So that's really based on that survey you did at the very beginning of applying to come to this meeting. We took the most popular requests and made sessions about them. There's going to be a series of working sessions this afternoon, and I particularly want to highlight those because those are the culmination of a process that NSF started where it invited 9 proposals, it funded 9 proposals for workshops, each of which got together between 20 and about 80 people to deliberate the future of cyber learning. The results of those workshops are under the Workshops tab on the CIRCL homepage, and you can read those reports. So we want to engage with those reports and pull you into thinking about where the future is going. So the first day, and there's a gallery, poster gallery at the end of the day. In between, we have some wonderful keynotes, but we'll talk about those later. So what I really want you to get a feel for is the first day is about getting grounded in who we are, what we know, meeting the community, becoming aware of the different expertises that are here. And then the second day, which we'll talk a lot about tomorrow, it's about the future. The morning is going to have a lot about future funding, because as you've heard, there's multiple funding opportunities. There's not just one program here. And we have people from different agencies coming to talk to you as well about funding opportunities. And what we're going to be pushing for is at the very end of the second day, there's a town hall session, which Amy and Tanya will be present for, really to listen to you. What have you seen in this meeting? What has gotten you excited? What do you feel committed to that must happen in the future of research in our field? Where do we have to go? They want to hear that because, as you heard, there are opportunities to shape future directions of funding. And so we want to be articulate. And so even today, I want you to be thinking, what's fresh here? What's new? What have we accomplished as a field, and where do we need to go next? And so be thinking about those things so we can bring them to the fore as our arc of the meeting progresses. Okay, now let me introduce my co-PI and running the CIRCL Center, Sarita Pillay, and she's going to tell you some more information about how we put this all together and what awaits you.
Thanks, Jeremy. Welcome, everyone. So I'm Sarita Pillay, part of the CIRCL team, and it's great to see you all here today, bright and early. I have an announcement to make, and then I'm going to acknowledge some people. As Jeremy said, it takes a lot of person power to make a meeting like this happen. It's great, again, to have you all in the room, but there's many people who can't be here, lots of competing meetings, and a lot going on, the start of the academic year, and competing priorities on people's time. So we do have a hashtag. It's NSFCL19, so please tweet what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what's giving you pause and food for thought, and help us really tell the story of what's happening here over the next 2 days for the people who can't be here. So please do that. I definitely want to acknowledge the program committee who worked really tirelessly to make this meeting happen. And so I think most people are in the room, so I'm going to ask folks to stand up. Our program chairs this year were Cynthia D'Angelo, Tamara Clegg, and James Lester. You can stay standing, we'll keep clapping. But there were also program committee members, Amar Abbott, Marcella Borga, Matthew, could you stand actually as I read your names? And Matthew Boyer, Peter Brusilovsky, Andres Henriquez, Steve Hickman, Christopher Hoadley, Sherry Shee, Yang Kim, Aaron Walker, Marcella Worsley, and Nesra Yanier. So if you see these people, their names are in the program book, a big round of applause for the months and months of work that they put in to make this meeting happen. We are very, very grateful. CIRCL staff are here too. Thanks to them. I want to thank our teams who've worked very hard. We all have staff name tags on our button, so thank you to the team at the registration desk and others. If you have questions, just look for one of us, and we'll be happy to point you in the right direction, answer any questions that you might have. And I'm looking forward to a really productive 2 days here with all of you, so thank you again. And now I'm actually going to turn it over to the program chairs, Tamara, Cynthia, and James, to come up here and tell you what they're excited about.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Cynthia D'Angelo, and so Jeremy asked us to just briefly talk about something we're very excited about for this meeting. And I think for me, one of the things I'm most excited about is how many new people there are here today. It's really great to see just like new people, new ideas, and fused into the community. And I really hope that you kind of take to heart what Jeremy said about it really being a participatory meeting. Tammy and I hosted a webinar last week for some of the folks who it's their first time, and really try to emphasize how important it is that you are active and trying to figure out, what's my part in this community, and really trying to see where you fit in and see what everyone else is doing. So welcome to all the new people especially, and everyone else, and I hope it's a great meeting.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tammy Clegg, and I am really excited about the hard work that the organizing committee, the CIRCL team, and everyone has put into making an interactive, a truly interactive program that invites the voices of all who are involved, from those of us who are more old-timers to the newcomers that Cynthia just mentioned. So I look forward to hearing how all those voices are integrated and come up with new, fresh ideas.
Good morning. It is so great to see everybody here. It's really, I think, a kind of a home for people that do cyber learning research, and some of us have been coming home for a few years, and others of us are here for the first time. So I'm really hopeful that we can all get to know each other. Personally, I'm most excited about the sort of dual opportunity and need that we face in cyber learning. So we've never seen a time where there's such potential of technology to help learning. We've never seen a time like this, and that is really an amazing thing to be here to grapple with this. On the other hand, we've never had a time when the need is so great, and we mean this on a sort of systemic basis, as well as really understanding how technologies can help learners learn and help us understand how they learn. So I hope over the next couple of days we can really grapple with these very, very difficult and interesting questions and come up with some answers as a community. Thanks.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm Judy Fusco, and I've been working with CIRCL since the beginning. And this morning, I get the pleasure of introducing our buddies and our CIRCL educators. I'm going to give you a quick history on buddies. In 2015, we had some Einstein Fellow teachers come to our meeting, and they were fabulous, and they brought such new ideas and important pieces to our conversation that we decided to make it a more formal program. So this year we have 17 buddies here. If you're a buddy, please stand. If you're not a buddy, please take a look around. Make sure you welcome these folks. And also on our website, there's a page about our buddies, and in the program, there's also a page about the buddies. Any PI can nominate a buddy, and then we have a review process. And I should thank Marcelo and Steve for being part of this process to help get our buddies here. Buddies, you can take a seat if you want. Don't want to make you stand the entire rest of the meeting. And then 2015 Einstein Fellows, now it's a formal program, and we're super excited, and please do welcome them. I also wanted to have our CIRCL educators stand. So CIRCL educators, please stand. These are some of the people I work with often, and we have a website off of CIRCL, and we have also a Twitter handle, so please find us. You'll see us tweeting today. Follow us. We do a lot to really help bridge the research practitioner gap. So really great posts from them. We've got a poster tonight with CIRCL educators, so please say hi to them. And now I'm going to tell you that we have 3 things to go through for the social networking. I'm going to stop talking so that we can be interactive shortly, but I do need you to listen very carefully because we are going to move around when we're starting our social networking. Before I do that, though, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Patty, and she's going to tell you about a game that we have going for the entire conference so that you can get to know people.
So, hi, I'm Patty Schenk, and in your packet, you're going to see this sheet. I think it's in the left pocket. It's our scavenger hunt. So, hopefully it's another fun way to learn about each other, both professionally and personally. So, throughout the meeting, if you can, for each description there, try to find a hopefully unique person who fits the description on the sheet. Introduce yourself, ask them a question, and if you can fill this in and give it to the staff at registration when you're done, we're going to have prizes at the end for the most unique matches, but also we'll choose randomly, so don't stop if you're not first. It's not all about competition, so that's a new rule this year, not just the first. So we hope that you find this as a fun way to get to know each other.
So we started the scavenger hunt back at the conference that we did with Games, Learning, and Society, and I believe Janet Kolodner was one of our winners back then. So we've kept a scavenger hunt. I think on that conference we were actually doing a round of bingo, and it's morphed a little bit, but the spirit is still there. So I think we're up to the part that always makes my heart pound, because I'm going to ask you guys, don't move yet, I'm going to ask you guys to move and get into 2 lines, and we're going to do speed dating. How many of you have done speed dating before, cyber learning speed dating before? Okay, so we're going to have 2 lines of people, and we're going to talk for a few minutes, and then we're going to rotate. And there's a lot of us here, so our lines are going to be very long. Sherry, Sherry, she's going to come up and help, and Erin's going to come help at the end of the line. And is Yang He here? Is she able to help? I think we talked about her helping as well, because there's a lot of you, and it gets confusing when we move around. So we're going to start the line up here behind Sherry. There's going to be 2 lines, though, parallel lines. You guys know parallel lines, I'm sure. You guys got this, right? Yeah. So we're going to go towards the door, then around and around and around, as long as we need to have 2 parallel lines. And then we're going to talk to each other. And one important thing that Sherry reminded me, because I don't think I did it last time, we need to stand arm's length apart if possible, so that we can actually hear the person we're trying to talk to. Because there's a lot of you, and it will get very noisy. So form 2 lines, parallel lines, but be like arm's length apart. How many people think they can do this? Do I need to go back over these instructions? Are you guys good? Okay, should I say we can move now? We're going to talk for 2 minutes each person and then switch, so 4 minutes total. Try to be a good listener. Try to learn who you're talking to. Try to ask questions, be that active listener. Do that the whole conference, but this is our warm-up activity, And I'm going to say go, and my heart is going to pound to do a good job. 2 parallel lines, arm's length apart.